Hello, welcome to Now Tell Us. Now Tell Us is a place where we come to hear stories. People come and give us something to inspire us. They come and educate us on a subject or highlight a cause that we could be interested in. And I'm your host, Anthony Moirore. And I'm honored to have you here with us today. And I expect we are going to learn something because our guest today is going to tell us about the strategies that should or that we can use to upgrade our life and business. Now, if you're ready to hear this, sit properly, wait for our friend to come and share with us today's episode, who is none other than Ryan Cote. Welcome to the show, Ryan.
Hello, Anthony. How's it going?
It's going on well, and I hope on your side is going on well too.
Yes, it's a great day today. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we are honored to have you here. Where are you from?
I'm in New Jersey,
Oh,
northern. Yeah, right now
ah,
I'm in Morristown, New Jersey, but I live in Montvale, so I'm in the office right now. But yeah, New
beautiful.
Jersey my whole life.
Beautiful. Yes, and we love stories, so we would love to hear some stories from you. And as you continue, as you go on to teach us some strategies that you apply in your own life to upgrade your life and business. But maybe we start right from when you were born and how it was growing up.
Sure. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah. When I was born, yeah, I grew up. I've been in New Jersey my whole life. Good family life. Two brothers, mom and dad. Grew up in a town called Kinnelon, New Jersey, and I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My great uncle started our company called Ballantine. It's our marketing agency back in the mid 60s. My uncle went to the business, my dad, me, and my two brothers. So I kind of grew up in this entrepreneurial family. Um, Summer breaks, working at the company, just learning and seeing what they do and all of that. So it's kind of been in my blood and so I guess it's not a surprise that like at an early age I was trying to like sell things and whatnot. But then my two brothers actually aren't necessarily they're in the business, but they didn't always have like these little side projects happening and stuff like that. So for some reason I just kind of gravitated towards that. I gravitated towards that, like entrepreneurship, like creating and selling things, and I gravitated towards personal development. I'm not sure why. I just you have an interest in something and you just naturally gravitate towards it. For some reason, that was for me, that was it. I'm not sure if it was like a childhood thing trying to like repair something but like I remember reading like Celestine Prophecy 20 years ago, and I'm reading it again now, thinking, thinking big, how to win friends and influence people. I naturally gravitated towards that kind of content. Um, and because I think I started to see the parallel between that and business, like you talk about like upgrading your life and business. To me, they're very intertwined.
Mm-hmm.
And because like I think about the times where, and I'll take a break after this because I feel like I'm going down a rabbit hole, but I think about the times in my life where things weren't good at home, for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
It affected my business too. And so to me, it's all very intertwined. And so that's why I try to attack business and personal development from like both angles. Because if I can make myself better, whatever that means, usually my business benefits and vice versa. So to me, it's very interweaved, and that's where morning upgrade comes in and all of that. It's my attempt at trying to fuel that belief and also impact others as well.
Mm. And I think I understand what you mean when you say that they are intertwined. And I like, and I have seen other people look at life and consider everything that they do is connected to the other. So we cannot just talk about our way of life, our family, and leave the business aside because the business that we are doing is involving the family that I go home to every single day. So
Yeah,
it's good that we tackle all sides of life as we are looking at the strategies that can help us balance. I guess it's possible to balance.
it's tough to balance. I think I mean, one of the masterminds I'm in, I'm a big believer in masterminds. We could talk about that if you want, but one of
Mm-hmm.
the recent sessions, he was talking about the guy that was facilitating it. He was talking about how balance is really hard, and the way he views it is like rebalancing. Like right
Mm-hmm.
now, I could, and you can feel it in your gut, like what needs more of your attention. Right now, I could tell that my family needs more of my attention, um, and so I'm going to shift my focus, not completely off the business, of course, but like, you know, where I'm trying to rebalance. Like maybe I've went a little too far into business. Now I need to shift back to family a little bit, and then vice versa. Like there's seasons in life where things need more of your attention than others. And I think it's like it's a gut feeling, and, or if it's like there's certain signs where if like your wife is saying, "Hey, I need more of your time here," or your kids or something like that, then it's obvious. But sometimes it's a gut feeling too, and so the balance is very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the rebalance is not, as long as you keep your antenna up and like just be self-reflective and look at what you're doing, you can sense as to what needs more of your attention, and so it's like a rebalancing act, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay, yeah, I get that. And going back a bit, what was the business of your uh, grandfather and the one that came rolling down until you? What did it all involve?
It's marketing. So we do direct mail and digital marketing. So back in the 60s, obviously it wasn't digital. It was all printing stuff, getting things printed, like, well, a piece of paper next to me, but getting things printed and then shipped. And then we added mail to it. So mailing, printing and mailing. And now we have a whole digital team. And so that's it's still around. It's Valentine. It's still around. And that's where I spend most of my time in addition to morning upgrade. And so my grandfather and my uncle who started the business, they passed away. Now it's my uncle, my two brothers, and my cousin that are involved in it, in addition to other employees.
And I think that's a very great area because each and every one of us is thinking about starting a business, and many of us have started businesses. But once we are started, we don't know which direction we ought to go. I mean, I open a shop or I open an online platform, but there is nobody coming there. So I think we need you more than you were ever needed.
That's good.
Marketers. Mm,
Yeah, it's
mm,
it's a passion. So is personal development. I'm actually, Anthony. I'm trying to like weave the two together, like I mentioned before. So, uh, like for example, with Morning Upgrade, I've got a podcast, and so
mhm,
I'll invite clients onto my podcast because it's a way for me
mhm,
to build relationships with them. It's a way to put out content that will help people. So I always look for ways to like interweave the two together. Um, and that's been a new development. I wasn't expecting to do that when I started Morning Upgrade, but it's been really interesting. It's been interesting to go to a client instead of just always talk business, talk about like their morning routine, their habits. It just forms a relationship on a different level. And I had no intentions of doing that. It's like
mhm.
anything, you go down a journey and it kind of like goes like this, and you see where it takes you, and that's it's been really fascinating.
So, what really inspired you to get started on it?
Um, it actually happened during COVID. Uh, April of 2020 is when I had the idea. I was writing content around personal development on LinkedIn, and then I had this idea when I was stuck at home like a caged animal. I had this idea like, oh wait a minute, I should start a brand around this. You know, talk about business and personal development, morning routines, because it's a real passion of mine, and try to create something that would help people, and turn it into a business too, of course. And so honestly, it's been such a learning process for me. Like the blogging was fine, but the podcast, I had no idea. Writing a book, no idea. Kindle and all that, Amazon, um, and then just other stuff that I've done with it. It's been just a learning process of just trying and testing and seeing what works.
And I love how one thing leads to another, and before you know it, it's such a big thing because now the morning routine is such a brand of it on its own. That is a great brand. I like the name, the morning routine.
Upgrade, yeah, morning upgrade, yeah,
Upgrade.
yeah. Thank you.
Morning
Yeah,
upgrade.
there's a
Mhm,
lesson in there too. For everyone listening, like if you want to try something new, just like my approach to it is to keep pushing forward every day, try to take action, and then take a step back every once in a while and try to like really think about what else can I do, what could be different, what should I try. I'm always trying to test new things and new types of content, new marketing strategies, new ways to make the brand different. And I'm not saying I have it all figured out or it's all perfect, but if you're intentional about really thinking about what you could do with the business and keep on taking the action daily, even when you don't feel like it, that's where it really starts to get fun because you never know where the journey is going to take you.
And I believe someone who's watching us or listening to us is going to walk away from this episode with something to think about or even take an action on that is going to lead to a different thing that he or she may not have imagined, which I believe and I desire, I pray is going to be a positive step towards your fulfilling your what do you, your destiny or fulfilling your potential,
Right.
maximizing it. So, the strategies.
Yes.
What are the strategies? Let's hear of them.
I was actually, yeah,
For uploading, yeah.
I was actually just thinking that. I was like, we should probably talk about the strategies. Um, there's a few that, so this is through my experience. So like, just take what I'm saying and filter through your own experiences and what resonates with you. What works for me might not work for you. All this is a very personal experience. There will be some overlap, like morning routines, for example. That's
Mm-hmm,
my main pillar self-care habit. I firmly believe in everyone that if you have a morning routine, it's going to help you. I think that's not like majorly groundbreaking. There's plenty of stories of successful entrepreneurs that have really good morning routines. The early bird gets the worms, they say. But some people, like, at my podcast, I get to talk about morning routines and everyone. Some people have a nighttime routine. Some people have a
mm-hmm,
short routine versus a very long routine. Some of my guests, they talk about 3-hour morning routines and involve plunging into an ice bath, which that's not happening on my end, but works for them. Walking outside with their dog, picking up garbage, believe it or not, like trying to make their community cleaner, um, red light therapy, journaling, gratitude practice. There's so many different things you could do with a morning routine. But the bottom line is, if we can sum it up in like a real quick nutshell, is waking up early and intentionally investing in yourself. I could talk about what my morning routine is, but
mm-hmm,
uh, everyone's got their own. You got to find out what works best for you. Like some of my guests, they only journal. They journal. Some just do gratitude practice. Some go for a walk. It's you have to find what works for you, what fills your cup, and what aligns with like what your goals are. And that's that's a good starting point. And I would say start small with a morning routine, 15, 20 minutes. Mine's only 30 minutes. That's what works best for me, 30 minutes. Some people like an hour and a half. But the idea is to wake up early, invest in yourself with a series of things. And that's a way to really start the day off on a good note. And it has a trickle effect on the whole day.
and I guess that's a must for everybody. It's not a matter of what you do or how you do it, but you should have something that you do. That's what I guess the morning routine for each and every one of us.
Yes, that's
Uh,
that's my belief. I've my days go better and I get luckier when I am consistent with my morning routine. I've found that to be true for the last 5 years. And like during COVID, I stopped doing it and I got into a serious funk, got myself back in it, and then things started. And maybe it's a placebo effect or whatever the case is, but for me, it doesn't matter. When I do my morning routine, my number one habit, it changes who I am, changes how I feel about myself. And then, of course, like with my morning routine, I'm doing like gratitude practice, exercise, meditation, journaling, setting my priorities for the day. So it's not just there's structure behind it that fuels my whole day and my
mhm,
mindset. So to me, that's like the number one thing. Um, Other strategies, of course, exercise. That's a no-brainer. Um, Masterminds. We mentioned masterminds. There's another
mhm,
strategy I think everyone should know about. Mastermind is it's a collection of people that get together every week or 2 weeks or month, whatever the cadence is, and you all have a common goal of what you're working towards. My main
mhm,
mastermind right now, it's a collection of 10 guys. I'm actually seeing them in 2 weeks in person because they're all spread out in the US. And it's personal and professional. So like every week we show up and we try to work through things, either issues with our marriage, issues with weight loss, issues with the business, issues with sleeping, issues with employees, whatever the case is. We work through wins and issues and try to support each other and grow. And I've been in that one for about 5 years now. And like some of the guys, like where they were when we started, because some of the same guys are still in the group. Man, oh man, it's like holy camole, like night and day difference. So to me, like you combine like the morning routine with a consistent mastermind. It's it's a very good recipe.
And to the one who's listening or watching, what would be the biggest importance of having a mastermind? I mean, yeah.
It's so to me, it's accountability, like showing up every week and trying to come with a full cup, and also getting help from the guys that if anything I'm working through. It's it's having a bunch of people that are working towards the same thing as you and are supporting you. Um, there's everyone's got different experiences. So if I'm having a problem that I'm working through, one of the guys most likely has gone through the same thing, so they can give me some advice. It's community for sure. Same guys every week, and we meet in person too. Like I said, in 2 weeks we're getting together in person. So really,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of things. I mean, we also like we take turns leading the group every week. Like one guy will lead, next week another guy leads. To me, that was very uncomfortable because I had never like led a Zoom call like that where everyone's like staring at me to like guide the direction of the call for 1 hour. That first
Mm-hmm.
couple of times I did it, I remember I had like butterflies. I don't know why, but I did. But now you get used to it. Now it's like public speaking. It doesn't matter anymore. So there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of reasons. And they don't like the ones I have. They're I pay for them, but there's free ones too. I mean, generally you get what you pay for, but if you're just starting on a string shoe budget, there's you can find like local groups that are maybe business oriented, where everyone just wants to get together at like a Panera's or a Starbucks and just share ideas. But I find the best ones are the ones where you're paying because then you have skin in the game.
And do you suggest if I go to look for a mastermind, I look for different kinds of masterminds? I look for one that is dealing with business and the other one that is dealing with family, or can it be all one and the same thing?
Every mastermind's different. They're pretty popular now. So if you do a Google search, you can find a plethora of masterminds. There's ones where you have to have like certain net worth. There's ones that are strictly male or female. There's ones that are strictly business or personal, or in my case, a mix of the two. Um, what I would recommend is doing Google searches, well, having a clear idea of what you are looking for, but then also doing Google searches, and you'll find them because there's a lot now. It's a popular thing, and then interviewing the person and getting a feel for what the group is like. Usually they let you sit in on a call for free just to see what it's like. Um, there's all different types, but I personally prefer the one that's personal and professional. To go back to what we said in the beginning, where everything's kind of interweaved. Um, because I'm in another one that's mostly just personal, and I feel like it's lacking, and it is lacking because there's no business stuff to it. And I feel it because I have the experience with the other one where it's all together. That's my personal preference. Everyone's different.
Okay, okay, that is well answered. And I'm thinking now, could Ryan be a help to someone who's listening or who gets to listen after we are through, so he can come after you and you guide him on how or to register for a mastermind, or maybe you are in a mastermind that needs an extra person.
Yeah, I mean, everyone reach out. I'll answer the questions. I try not to like shit on people like you should do this, you should do that. But I'll answer it based on my experiences, and then and then try to help as much as I can for sure. You can reach out. All the contact information is on Morning Upgrades. I'm happy to help in any way I can.
Okay, you will go on with your strategies, but before you go, I'm thinking, and I don't know, maybe I go ahead of time, and there's somewhere maybe you could mention mentors, but I'm bringing it forward if there was, to ask what's the difference between a mastermind and mentorship. And yeah, because someone says you should have a mentor, you should have a mentor, and then now we talk about mastermind. What's the
Yeah,
relation or the difference?
it's a good question. So I've never actually had a mentor. And I've always thought about that because when I went up in business, I had two jobs outside of college for a short period of time, and then I went right into the family business. So I never had someone that was working with closely, like a boss that like showed me the ropes. I've always thought about like would I benefit from that? but I can answer the question because I know what the differences are. A mentor is typically a one-on-one relationship. You're working with someone that's much older than you, has a lot more or a lot more experience, and usually there's not like money being exchanged. It's sort of like, hey, let me put my arm around you and help you out and show you the ropes. And so it's usually a one-to-one sort of relationship. Maybe there's not structure. It's like grabbing coffee every once in a while, or hey, can I pick your brain on something? And so it's like that one-to-one relationship where the one person's trying to like teach the other person like what they've learned and help them grow into the human being that they want to become. A mastermind, technically, you could say it's a mentorship because I consider the 9 guys in my group mentors of mine because they're helping me. Like we have that relationship, but it's
Mm-hmm.
different. We're like in a group together. We're all kind of working towards the same goals in our business and life, being a better husband and a father and all that. But it's not one to one, it's a group. So to me, it's like one to one versus group, and there's slightly different dynamic, but in the end, it is the goal is all kind of the same as personal growth, and becoming stronger.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful, beautiful. Now go ahead and share with us some more strategies that we should know.
I've got um I've got uh so we talked about morning routines. We talked about mastermind. I mean, inside the morning routines, we could talk, the gratitude practice and journaling, celebrating your wins. Those are all major things that I kind of lump under the morning routine because typically morning routines do gratitude practice and celebrating your wins. Um, but a third thing I wanted to mention is to be in a constant state of learning. And so maybe I'm a crazy person, but like when I'm in the car, I don't listen to book. I don't listen to radio. Okay. Um, I'm not saying I don't have fun, and I'm not saying I never unwind. I do, but when I'm in the car, I use that time to like learn new things. When I go for a walk every day, 7,000 steps every day, I listen to my audiobooks. So the key here is like self-education, investing in yourself. It's the best investment you can make. And so be real intentional and um, focused on what you can learn. Like I heard a story a while back that like Warren Buffett reads like 5 hours a day. I mean, the guy's worth like $1 billion. He does not need to be learning anything new, but he's like that's how he fuels his growth, and he's always learning new things to stay sharp. And so, like for me, I try to adopt that. I'm always listening to an audiobook. I am very selective at the podcasts I listen to, and I'm always reading a book because part of my morning routine is reading a few pages in a book. And so, developing a mindset to be in a perpetual state of learning, in my opinion, is very, very important. And you think about it, if you're doing that every day, the compound effect of learning new things, consuming new content, that's going to help you. And this can be either personal or professional. Like I read business books like marketing and biographies. And I read personal books like Sales Team Prophecy and books on mindset and books on uh, the Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, another book. I try to read personal and professional books, and the compound effect of that year after year, it's impossible that it won't change you and like level you up.
Hmm. And thank you for sharing that because recently I've been thinking of some phrases I've been hearing from the youth. You meet with someone who is failing in their own exams in the school, and they tell you, furthermore, Bill Gates did not get a degree, and he mentioned a few more other people who never got their degrees. And then a few days I've been thinking, look at these people. How many books does Bill Gates read every month? How many books does maybe another person that we admire, Barack Obama, read? He's always sharing the books he's reading. All
Yeah,
those people, but he got his degree, but there are several others who never got their degrees, but they are always building themselves through books or through courses. Now, today's youth will say education doesn't matter and sit all day playing on the computer games or
uh,
watching TV or all the other social media. And I ask myself, where are you heading, youth?
yeah. No, it's very true. I think it's a fascinating time to be alive right now because we have so much information, almost too much information at our fingertips, but the thought that you could pay like 15, $20 to buy a book that someone with like 30 years of experience in X, Y, and Z wrote. It's fascinating. Like all that information for 15, 20 bucks. And books have been around for a while, but you know, it's becoming more and more of a thing where experts will write books that build their authority. So there's just more books being released, and also the podcasts. They're releasing podcasts, they're releasing courses. There's so much information out there where if you want to learn something, there's an expert that probably has a podcast, probably has a book, probably has video courses out there that you could just pay a couple $100 and boom, plug right into that person's brain and just take it all out. And it's just, I don't know. I find it I find it very fascinating. It's
It's fascinating, and it's
you know,
very, it's a good area, that it's a good time that we are existing. Now, at this point, I'll ask you, if someone wants to connect with you, how do they find you? And not only how will they find you, what will they find when they follow you up with you and they come to your area, to your side?
yeah. So if you want the marketing agency is Ballantine.com, and then the personal development site is morningupgrade.com. If they go to morningupgrade.com, there's links to my book, there's links to the podcast, there's links to the blogs, and the blogs are all recaps of morning routines, recaps of books that I'm reading, just informational blogs. It's a lot of content. I also have an email newsletter where if they sign up to that every week, I send out an email that's written by me with just a few things that are on my mind, just very casual, very conversational. Um, so all that information is there. And I guess I'll leave or I'll end with this, Anthony, is that I've been now that we're at least during this conversation, it's October of 2022. We're getting close to a new year here, and I've tried to adapt another habit or strategy, I guess, as when the year is getting close to a new year, I start to think about like, what am I going to do differently next year that will make next year better than this year? Because if you do the same things you're doing this year, next year is going to be probably the same. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm always looking for things that I can invest in, try, that I think will make next year better than this year. And so just I'm trying to get into that habit, that mindset of doing that. And so I thought that might be helpful for your audience just to start thinking about that. What are they going to do differently next year that will make next year better than this year?
Thank you very much for that. So, with all that we've shared and anything that you may want to get from Ryan, that's www.morningupgrade.com to follow up with Ryan. And that's about it for today. But before we go, we'd like you to leave us with a few words that we should always remember, Ryan,
A few words.
that we should always remember.
I would say how you talk about yourself matters, and how you think about yourself matters. So just be careful of the negative thoughts that come into your head. I know it's easy to let that stuff creep in, but uh, but block it out.
Wow. Thank you. It all matters.
Yeah.
And you can go and quote Ryan for that. Don't forget that everything matters. So that's about it for today. And our guest Ryan shared with us strategies for upgrading our life and business. And it has been a wonderful time. Thank you very much, Ryan.
Thank you, Anthony.
Yes, and me, your host, together with Ryan, we are saying bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.